At T-minus 25 seconds, you'll hear Go Vulcan, Go Centaur, Go USSF 87. This is the final status check of the rocket and the payload readiness. At T-minus 6 seconds, initiation of the launch pad water deluge system occurs.
At T-minus 3 seconds, the main engines ignite. Then, after seeing Vulcan lift off, you'll hear flight commentator Daniel Brunson providing updates as the rocket ascends into space.
So Vulcan is building upon the proven reliability of the Atlas and Delta family of rockets, and its name actually has some really cool synergy. Vulcan primarily refers to the Roman god of fire and metalworking, and he represents both creative and constructive foraging.
And another fun fact, Vulcan was also the name given to a hypothetical planet that was once thought to exist between Mercury and the Sun. In our launch count, we include planned holds. This means that as the launch team is getting closer to liftoff, their countdown clock will pause for short periods of time to allow the team to resolve any issues that may occur in the hours leading up to launch.
By building in this time, we give ourselves a higher probability of launching in our window. As we are currently in our 7-minute hold, we anticipate releasing the hold in just a few moments.
Mark. 6:55. Ground.
The countdown clock has resumed, and we are go for launch at 4:22 a.m. Eastern Time. As we look at the Vulcan rocket on the pad, we see the American flag across the inner stage and logos for the United States Space Force, ULA, as well as mission artwork on Vulcan's payload fairing.
The artwork for USSF 87 features owls watching over the night sky representing the spacecraft. Additionally, resilience in our nation's space assets is represented by the sword, on which the owls are perched, as well as the outline of a shield. The deltoid in the sky signifies the safe delivery of this mission to orbit, and the words seen at the bottom, Nos etiam vigilantes, are for Latin for we are still watching.
As we continue counting down towards launch, let's learn more about how ULA builds the Vulcan rocket.
Engineered in Centennial, Colorado, ULA's Vulcan rocket is built in Decatur, Alabama, and launched from Cape Canaveral, Florida. Once the rocket is manufactured, it travels to Cape Canaveral on ULA's cargo ship, known as Rocket Ship. After arriving in Florida, ULA's launch operations team begins assembling the rocket. Stacking begins with lifting the 109-foot Vulcan booster, powered by twin BE-4 engines, onto the Vulcan launch platform. For additional thrust at liftoff, solid rocket boosters are attached to the sides of the first stage. ULA's ultra-thin stainless steel Centaur upper stage, powered by two RL-10C engines, is then lifted into position. Lastly, the payload fairing, containing the spacecraft, is lifted and mated to the Vulcan rocket. Once assembled, the countdown begins with moving the rocket from the vertical integration facility to the launch pad. The trip to the pad is about 1/3 of a mile. Throughout the 20-minute trip, a support van leads the move, followed by the payload van, providing communication with the spacecraft, and the ground van, providing support to the rocket. The Vulcan launch platform supplies air conditioning, electrical, and propellant lines to the rocket. Track mobiles at the rear power the convoy, which includes an environmental control system, providing air conditioning to the payload and rocket, as well as a backup generator. Vulcan arrives at the pad for fueling and other final preparations, and once fueled, weighs nearly 1.7 million pounds and stands 202 feet tall.
Once we lift off, viewers watching this launch from Florida and parts of the Southeast may be able to see Vulcan in flight. To get a closer look at the visibility map, check out @ULA Launch on social media.
Following liftoff, ULA's Vulcan rocket will fly east from Space Launch Complex 41. Here's a look at today's mission profile.
Following final confirmation of rocket readiness, twin BE-4 engines and 4 GEM 63XL solid rocket boosters produced nearly 3 million pounds of thrust to lift ULA's Vulcan rocket away from Cape Canaveral's Space Launch Complex 41. Shortly after liftoff, the rocket begins a pitchover to attain the proper flight path, while minimizing the dynamic pressure it experiences during flight. Vulcan then reaches Mach 1, the speed of sound. With the ability to add 2, 4, or 6 solid rocket boosters, or SRBs, Vulcan can be precisely configured to take any mission to space, from low Earth orbit to Pluto and beyond. These boosters augment the rocket's total thrust at liftoff, adding approximately 460,000 pounds of thrust per SRB. With their propellant expired approximately 90 seconds into ascent, the SRBs burn out, followed by jettison. Jettison time is variable, occurring between 100 and 150 seconds after liftoff, depending on mission requirements. Vulcan's guidance system then activates to steer towards the precise target in space. First stage flight continues as the rocket crosses the Kármán line, entering space. With the majority of propellant expended as Vulcan fights against the force of gravity, the BE-4 engines shut down and the booster stage separates. With the rocket now weighing less than 10% of what it did at liftoff, dual RL-10C engines on ULA's Centaur upper stage ignite. Spacecraft are encapsulated inside a 5.4-meter diameter payload fairing, which provides a protective environment during ascent. Following Centaur engine ignition, the payload fairing is jettisoned, and the mission continues to its final destination.
$140. SCS launch enabled. $135.
T-minus 90 seconds. The launch vehicle, ground systems, payload, and Eastern Range are go for launch.
For those of you just joining us, I'm Ryan Schlieder here with Abby Couture for today's live coverage of ULA's Vulcan launch of USSF-87.
At this time, the team is not working any issues, and we are proceeding towards the liftoff at 4:22 a.m. Eastern.
T-minus 1 minute.
Port range status. Range green. $45.
Vulcan tanks at step 3.
$34. 30. BE-4 start box go. 25. Verify ECS reduced for launch.
Verified.
Status check. Go Vulcan. Go Centaur. Go SF-87. 15. 10.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We have ignition. 2, 1. And liftoff of United Launch Alliance SF-87 for the United States Space Force, continuing ULA's legacy in national security space launch.
Engine parameters look good. Body rate's looking healthy. Approaching 1.5 miles in altitude.
You are hearing Daniel Brunson providing launch vehicle ascent data.
Vehicle tracking downrange is expected, 4 miles in altitude. Engine parameters continue to look healthy. Max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. Body rates continue to look stable.
We are approaching burnout and jettison of the solid rocket boosters.
And good indication of SRB burnout on all 4 SRBs. Good indication of SRB separation. Guidance enabled. Body rates return to 0.
We just heard confirmation of solid rocket booster jettison. These additional motors augmented the thrust at liftoff to give Vulcan an extra boost to reach orbit. And now, at the very start of launch, when we had that very bright exhaust plume from those 4 SRBs is no longer on the Vulcan rocket, the blue glow from the BE-4 is going to take over.
That blue glow is actually caused by our fuel choice, which is liquid natural gas, also known as methane. Those BE-4s have 550,000 pounds of thrust each, and then the GEM 63XLs have 460,000 pounds of thrust each, totaling up to about 3 million pounds of thrust at liftoff.
Yeah, and at liftoff, the Vulcan Centaur vehicle weighed about 1.7 million pounds, and now it's about half of that liftoff weight. So our booster is going to continue burning with just the BE-4s for the next little while. Our next major event is going to be booster engine cutoff. And then at that point, the 2 RL-10s on the Centaur upper stage will take over, each providing about 24,000 pounds of thrust.
So far, the ascent phase of this mission, everything has been nominal, and the second stage is getting ready to take over after stage sub.
Body rates continue to look healthy. 120 miles downrange, 42 miles in altitude. Vehicle is traveling at 6,000 miles per hour.
This is Vulcan Mission Control at T+4 minutes. We're coming up on our next mission events. Let's listen in.
Vehicle's approaching 200 miles downrange. We've begun boost phase chill down, prepping the upper stage engines. RL-10 housing temps responding as expected. 270 miles downrange, traveling at 10,000 miles per hour. We've completed boost phase chill down. And good shutdown. We got BECO. Good indication of stage separation. We got pre-start on H2 and O2. And ignition. 2 good upper stage engines. And good indication of PLF jettison.
This is Vulcan Mission Control at T+5 minutes and 40 seconds. We just heard flight commentator Daniel Brenson confirm the successful completion of the early milestones in today's flight, and all systems continue to operate nominally.
Yeah, that was a very clean liftoff, and like you said, we've hit all of our early milestones from this morning's launch campaign. There is still a ways to go for Centaur to reach GEO, but so far this 4th mission for the ULA Vulcan Centaur launch vehicle has been very clean.
Yeah, it's been a really great 4th launch. And as we wrap up our live coverage, we want to say thank you for staying up late or waking up early to tune in for today's flight, and remind you to visit ulalaunch.com. Follow us on socials at ULA Launch, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for launch updates, videos, and other content.
Before we sign off, let's take another look at today's liftoff.
10.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We have ignition. 2, 1. And liftoff of United Launch Alliance SF-87 for the United States Space Force, continuing ULA's legacy in national security space launch.